Greetings, Commanders! Welcome to Kerrash Landing, the Elite Dangerous Community Show. Yes, it's Friday. It's crash time. Lovely to see you all in the chat. I've mostly survived Fantasticon. As you can see, I'm a little worse for wear. That's more to do with the fact that, yeah, the problem is I think anyone in the tech industries will know that kind of you have one day off work and you just have to squeeze that 5-day work week into the remaining. So anyway, greetings to you all. Lovely to see you all in the chat. Some familiar names and some new names I see in there as well, which is nice to see. Zaranil, that's definitely a new name. Greetings, Commander. Fairly new player last week. You got a courier mission to some place you never heard of at an orbital. A cruel thing to do to an unsuspecting player. Absolutely, yes. Hutton Orbital is a well-known place amongst the inner circle of elite players. Am I too quiet? Am I too quiet? Am I? I tell you what that is. I was trying to adjust the sound because last time I was told I was way too loud. Let me put that up a little bit. Sound levels, Rizzles, greetings. That's a new name as well. Greetings, Commander. Yes, sound levels are always a problem. I sacrifice the goat and everything to the gods of audiovisual setup, and they still they beseech me every week. The cozy voice, the deeper voice, perfect for radio. I have the face for radio. Yes, absolutely. How is everybody doing this week? I hope you've had a fantastic week. I know I have. Kicking off with Fantasticon last weekend, it was absolutely awesome. It was wonderful to see you. I know there's a couple of familiar names there in the chat, which we definitely saw at Fantasticon, and it was brilliant. Wasn't it great? Just the best thing about those kind of events is always just meeting up with everyone, just seeing everyone and just having a chat. It's brilliant. Turn my volume up. Is my volume still low? Is it still low? Let me whack it. This is where everyone gets completely blown out of their seats with the volume. Let's try open it up. I did test everything on there. I did twiddle around with it. Just before I came on air, I was just twiddling with my knobs. It is low. I tested it. I really did test it, honestly. Oh, formerly locutors. Ah, right. Excellent. Right, yeah. But let's just check. Let's for your benefit. Let's just check and double check that I have the boost on. I mean, currently levels is 33%. 33%. I'm going to attempt to knock it up just a little bit, just a couple of decibels. Let's give it a go. This is always fun. Live setup. I'm going to give that a go. Let's see how that is. A very relaxed start. It is. I'm sat here chilling. You see, I've gone back to the orange, bog standard HUD colours. Why? Because it's mostly festive sort of periods. I have my Christmas tree. I have my 3 wise men, and I'm ready to go. I've got some missions to get on with. I did have an interesting mission in the week, which it's crazy enough I've not seen before. And good volume now, brilliant, right, excellent. I wanted to go through and do it tonight because I'm not sure if everyone has seen this particular mission type. I expect many people have, but it's one that I hadn't actually seen myself, so I wanted to give it a go tonight, which is a surface scanning mission. I don't know if the game's coming off a little bit loud. What I'll do is I'll nudge the game down a little bit. Hopefully it won't be too bad. And you can just listen to me. Look into my eyes.
You are now clear of federal restriction zones. Farewell, Commander.
I don't want that. I want a high wake. Let's get over to the Vaga system. Just come off Miss Psyche's stream. Miss Psyche, she's awesome. Yes, good point, Ian. There actually, that is unfortunately there is no newsletter this week. see, I want to turn it up a little bit again. I'm going to nudge it up just a little, just a tiny amount, just a tiny amount. So we're just going, and everyone's just blasted away, but. Exactly, Andy Pookin. That was one of the things I thought was really, really cool. Actually, it was this this scanning sort of action, which is something we've talked about a lot before. About this kind of the behaviour of getting near to a planet and getting progressively more detailed surface scans and things like that. I mean, that was primarily for exploration. We were talking about that kind of thing, but I thought it was a nice effect. It was an interesting effect. Unauthorized transmission been sent in from a planetary location. Locate the point of interest and interface with the data panel. It's a fairly simple mission. I think this is an important thing for a lot of people, actually, for particularly if a lot of us who've been playing from the very, very beginning, to go back and try some of these missions. Try your best, because I fall foul to it as well, I must admit. Don't try to look at the mission board and get the one with the biggest payout, because that's immediately what you want to do. That's your first reaction. You look at it and you think, let's get the mission with the biggest payout. But no, have a scout around and try and find the rarer missions, you know, the things which are, you know, like interesting sort of scenarios and stuff. And there's some really, really good ones out there that we probably have missed and skipped over. JMS, greetings, Commander. Yes, going back to what Ian was saying, yes, there is a sale on at the moment in the store. There we go. And I do have a link below the thing, which you can click below the stream here somewhere. Where is that side? It's over there. It's somewhere. Anyway, click that link on there. They have a Black Friday special sale, the Midnight Skins, which is entirely black, sexy black skin, which I am sporting on the keelback at the moment, which you can't tell because I'm in the shadow. Yes, these Black Friday skins are back. Sexy black colour. Gotta love it. And I'm about to hit a navigation beacon. There we go. Smoothly done. The black ship skins, they're not a new thing. I mean, I think they were in last year's Black Friday sale, so they brought them back for this Black Friday sale, which is nice. I don't think they were exclusive. That's not your immersion's broken. No station notes would be that polite. Get lost to come back. I think there's one for the Beluga now as well. Ah, excellent, yes. Which I don't have. That I don't think, because that was last year's. I'll have to check that. I'll have to check. I want it. Do I have missiles? No, I don't. But then this is a fairly cheap payout mission. I don't think this is a. Oh, what's 7 through? What's this? I don't know what level this was. I don't think it was elite level. Vaga A4A. Let's head on out there. Now I do have. I've got a couple of delivery missions to get done as well. So the question is, do I do those? No, let's do the fun mission first. But yeah, I know what you're saying, Andy. The it's good to have the missiles so you can do like the bombard the bases to remove the defenses and that kind of thing. Fuck on. Commander Strain, greetings. I did say hello, Snoz, but unfortunately I was too low. So hello, Snoz. How are you doing, buddy? How's Alvin? Where's Alvin? Alvin, here. I was going nuts at the camera now. LHS 3447. There's a familiar name. Greetings. Black Friday was one skin for all ships. Now you can buy them for each individual ship. Yes, that's right, DJ. The I think everybody who kind of bought the game before a certain point last year, I think everyone got the black skins, I know that. But now they're all individual ship skins that you can purchase one by one, which is good. Prime 9! Greetings, Commander! How you doing, buddy? Lovely to see you in the chat there. And lovely to see the news that you put up in the forum. I say news. The threads that you put up in the forum just this last week. Actually, it was something we were going to try and touch on tonight. Actually, because it's something that came up at Fantasticon. Actually, there's two really cool things. First of all, there's several threads on there where you're talking about a lot of balance passes which are coming in the next update. And the awesome thing that I know that we spoke about before, something that you've really wanted to get in, is the fact that the next update for 2.2 is going to have an active beta session, which is great. It's absolutely awesome. Really cool to see that in it coming as a more of a standard thing. And I think that's definitely the best way to put it forward to the community, because you know, We all want to help. We all want to make the game. Saturday saying, "Oops," then you're going to regret it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to be able to play around with those things before they just get thrown in. You know, we get to kind of give us our, give our feedback and kind of and help direct some of the things that are happening. No, Andy Pipkin, we don't need to talk about that. There's been plenty of talk about that. Change of plan. We're going to need that sooner. Plus 7 hours. Oh, that's okay. I can get there in 7 hours. A slight change of plan to that delivery mission. Vulture ship mods are on sale. Did you imagine it? I don't notice, actually. I haven't seen them. Is that you talking about the fins and the wings and things like that? Speculate on the new beta data. We can speculate away. There we go. Search zone. I like this. This is really cool, actually, right? So you scan the nav beacon first. It gives you the planet you should search around. And then you head down to the rough location of where the search zone is. And it starts to zero in on exactly where you need to be looking. Which is awesome. This is awesome. I love this. It just reminds me very much of the military bombing and photography missions from Frontier Elite 2, where you had to kind of find a tiny little spot on a planet. But the only clue you had back then, and this is the crazy thing that people forget, is basically you just had to sit there going around the planet and look for one tiny little sparkly pixel that would be out of place. You know, that was it. You know, anyone seeing that today would think that's an aliasing artifact, but no, you know, that was your only clue in Frontier to find a secret outpost somewhere. Proud recipient moment. He noticed it, he snoz. Oh, bless him. Oh, here we go. Here's the little graph. I love this graphic. Here you go. Search an outpost location. No. Bzz, bzz, bzz. I love the graphics on this as well. It's a cool little effect. It's probably going to switch again because I don't think that's. As you start to zero in on it, it moves around, which is pretty cool. I like that. Shannon's Geek is hosting. Excellent, thank you, Shannon's Geek. How are you doing? Oh, follow that marker. There it is. Oh, there we go. There it is. Snuck in behind us. Right. So, we need to get down in, sneaky-like. Just drop a few kilometers out. Just plop down behind this crater and landing gear went out. Speculation, Thargoid are cold. They don't show up on our scanner since Thargoid live in cold ammonia worlds. We're going to need weapons that heat them up like emissive and plasma weapons. That's a very good point there, DJ. Yeah, very good point. You may well have something. But of course, that's entirely speculation. We just don't know. Snarls, just a thought, why not Planet Coaster since it's gone live? I was actually playing Planet Coaster a little bit before I came on the day. I've already done like the first 3 scenario things. I've 3-starred them. You've got to get gold stars on each one. Just started the 4th one. It is absolutely excellent game. If you haven't already got Planet Coaster, I definitely recommend it to anyone, particularly if you're into like management style games. Fantastic. Frontier really, really outdone themselves with that game, and it's lovely to see the progression of the technology, the stuff that they can do, because it fills me full of ideas of what's coming up on that. What's that from Primeman? You should point out the plasma charge is being pulled back a little bit. The raw damage buff was larger than it should have been due to an error. I'm going to leave it at spreadsheets and oops. I can imagine. Yeah, I've had my fill of spreadsheets today with my work. Oh, not a biscuit spreadsheet. A bit more scientific than the biscuit spreadsheet, I hope. PBR America and Game of the End. Thank you very much for the host there, guys. Thank you. Just wanted 32 tons of cargo. What's that? Captain Fluffy. Sorry, I missed that. You got pirated at the CG for the first time. Just wanted 32 tons of cargo rather than blow you up. Excellent, excellent. Well, it's nice to see that people can pirate the right way when they know what they're doing. Horny! Greetings, Commander. Lovely to see you there. And it was great to see you at Fantasticon as well. It's really, really awesome. Yes, Millstone, he might have just caught me out on Planet Coaster. Yeah. It has snoz, yeah, definitely. There's been a lot of changes. There was an update already. I mean, the game's been out a week, and already there's an update for it, 1.0.1, which direction was that? It's over here. There it is. Uh-oh. Sorry, he's clean. He's just investigating. Right, let's just turn the lights off. Honestly, I'm not here. Yeah, it's had a big update already, and it's I think it's really nice to see it kind of get the blueprints and everything added in, because a lot of people were saying it was like, oh, there wasn't many blueprints to begin with, and it kind of makes it difficult to know, you know, what to do. Oh, where is? Hang on. Where did that outpost go? I lost it. Oh, there it is. Stupid crash face. Right. Sneak over there. Covert ops. Love it. He says sneak, going at 18 miles an hour over the surface. Trying to be unbiased, but holy hell, that game is good. It is excellent. This is the problem of you know, it's hard to not to sound like you're coming across like a fanboy, but it genuinely is a fantastic game, and the guys have done such a fantastic job at polishing it. And you know, I know there's more stuff planned, more stuff coming through, which is going to make it even better again. But they truly have outdone themselves with it, because I know they were working around the clock to get it ready. But to, you know, to squeeze in all of those things on the last release of the, you know, the log flume, the water rides, the all of the updates that came in at the last minute, it was just crazy. Crazy amount of effort has gone into it, so well deserved. And the sales figures are showing it. I mean, I think it's hit something like 215,000 total owners at the moment. I mean, that's hopefully has earned a fairly pretty penny for Frontier at the moment, which is really, really awesome to see. Laverick, greetings, Commander. Yes, Andy, yeah, I did notice that patrolling ships will start to show up, and all the defense turrets are wanted. Sweet, sweet, which means I won't get in trouble for attacking them. Awesome. What's that? Snozzer. Not sure if you know this, but is that Night Sky and Planet Coaster accurate, or did your team not bother with the Elite Dangerous Galaxy? Do you know what, Snoz? I was wondering that, actually. I was thinking, you know, did they just use a skybox, or did they take something from Elite, which would kind of make sense when you think about it. Right, we just need to scan the data points, so let's... Right, let's get the smeg out of there. Boom, oh, it was that one. Well done, Commander. Right, there we go. The relevant data has been transferred to your ship. And get the smeg out of there. Oh. Lights back on so I can see what I'm doing. Sadly, PC is making your PC crawl a bit. 8,000 guess at max settings hurt CPUs. Yeah, I've seen a lot of feedback on that as well. But I mean, it's not surprising for me, it being a simulation game with so much detail. And you know, some of the things I spoke to Johnny Watts about, the level of the detail and like the guest brain, the AI behind the scene there. Oh, return. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there is a lot going on there, so I'm not surprised. You don't have enough time to play both Elite and PC. Well, yeah, if you saw for that tweet I put out the other day, I basically had both of them running at the same time, and I was just going waiting for some missions on the mission board, and I thought I'd switch, just go build a coaster. And then whilst the coaster was earning me cash, I switched back and completed a mission. And Laverick, yes, I did mention that Fantasticon, the Amiga, is not in a healthy way at the moment. I believe the 600 is. I think I'm going to need to get a new a keyboard for it, or at least a new ribbon for it, because not all of the keys are active on the board, which is a shame. The 500 is just getting a yellow screen. I need to strip it all the way down and clean all the contacts and all of the stuff inside. It's not a 500 plus, don't worry, it hasn't got a battery in there, it hasn't corroded the PCB or anything crazy like that. But no, it's just getting a yellow screen when it starts, which is unfortunate. Tends to mean there's something, either the CPU is completely borked, or there's something wrong on the bus. Something is jamming it up. Alright, we need to get back to the Vagar, but we don't have a... Yes, we're good. We haven't acquired a bounty because I managed to do that good. And that's like I said right at the start, that's one of those missions which completely skipped over, because I've been doing all the harder missions and all the stuff that I got used to doing, and going back and just picking one of the easier missions, it's great fun to just do these things. Sorry, Andy, look at this catch up on the chat there whilst I'm getting back into Super Cruise. You saw caves and tunnels in Planet Coaster. Does it mean that you might get those at some point in Elite Dangerous? Maybe handcrafted. I don't think so. I mean, that was something that the guys have talked about before on some of the live streams, and the main reason for that is technically it would mount your machine. Revian! Greetings, Commander! Nice to see you in the chat there. But it's possible, but yo, bro, Tom, good day, Commander. How you doing? It's definitely possible, but it's not something which I think we are going to see anytime soon, because it would require procedural generation, which is different to the way that Planet Coasters do it. Planet Coaster's got a finite volume, which is handcrafted, of voxels. So it shows that the engine is perfectly capable of doing, three-dimensional scenes with overhangs and all the complicated stuff like that. And like, I feel awful now. I forget the guy on the shader team, or the team that works on that side of stuff. I forget his name, but he was on one of the live streams. I think it was last Christmas. And he explained that it is possible, it is perfectly something that could be done, but it would require like an extra level of I forget the term. It's like, I think you have like when you're building up procedural maps like that, you have like an extra dimension to it, like an extra level, like a chord to the way that the routines are generated, and that would be. Yeah, it would melt most graphics cards, unfortunately. Chris Hankey, yes, I did notice him. I believe he's. Hang on, let's. There we go. I said hi to him. He should eat, absolutely, and yes, he should be here. Saying hi to everyone, absolutely. Prime 9, yeah, exactly. That's so you put it so much more eloquently than one. So I'm going to read that out verbatim, because the Planet Coaster terrain check as it stands isn't really practical at a planet scale, especially as it's needed in as they needed the real-time modification. But we can learn a lot from doing it. Exactly. That's the thing which I always think is really, really cool to see what you guys are playing with next, what the tools and technology you're working on, because it shows the potential for future stuff of what you can do. But I think there's two sides of it. I mean, if you take away the real-time deformation and just have it as like a fixed generative surface, like what you've got on the planets, I think it's something which is doable. But I think it would ultimately be a massive performance hit, wouldn't it? Really, even if you were just doing it to that scale, like a crust, giving that kind of 3D surface detail and things like that. But yeah, the surface deformation would be absolutely nightmare. This goes on to some of the stuff that we were talking about last week. Is the idea of persistence, which is something a lot of people don't really understand why it's such a big problem. But any tiny action you do in the game which would leave some kind of persistent mark on the galaxy is a technical headache for you guys. And I can appreciate it from a technology background. I understand how difficult it is for something like that to work. To get like these updates of what's going on all the way up to the servers and aggregate it out to every client so everyone gets it. It would be an absolute nightmare if you had things like surfaces where people could hit with a missile and leave a crater, and then that detail would have to go up to the servers and then pass back down, and it would be just unfathomable. Just without fathom. 4K gaming is not just here. Yeah, it's possible, but just you need ridiculous power to do it. And yes, Snoz is right. Yeah, Elite is already 16K capable, and whatever, the engine can scale. This is the glorious thing about having your own in-house engine, which you control to the nth degree. Is you can tweak and tune every little part of it to do whatever you want to do with whatever's the goal next. Furry Beverly, yeah, exactly. It's just storing the data alone would be it's just an absolute nightmare. And this is like, I put a lot of thought into what we were talking about last week. This trying to discuss persistence and procedural generation and something like that. I am trying to pen some notes on making like a series of small videos, because I know it's something we talked about last week. It would be really cool to do. I'm just going to try and make a little YouTube series on that to kind of explain some of these terms and how that all fits together. So DJ, you can't just put caves and such persistent points of interest like funerals and stuff like that. In theory, yes. In practice, not. No, yeah, exactly. Prime9. Yeah, it's one of those things. It is from the outside, it seems simple to people, but then I know when you get into the nitty gritty of actually implementing it, it's a scary rabbit hole to start going down. It's something player made, like a creator, doesn't have to be persistent yet. Well, this is the problem, yo, bro. Yeah, this is the thing we were talking about last week. We'll just recap it really quickly. Like, if you had a player-made crater, something you hit a surface with a torpedo, made a crater, you were playing in solo, fine, no problem. It would persist for as long as it was within your visible range, and once you fly away, your computer perhaps would delete it, throw that kind of data away for that hole in the ground. Royal Hanky, greetings, Commander, and Psycho Q! Thank you for the host, Sarah Bubble. But what was that? Psycho Q, Ray, drabble this. Simon. Oh, dear. Love you guys. Is there a competition? I hope it's not something rude again. I'm going to quickly put up the thing. Let's see if we can get this thing on there. Because I thought one of you would make a comment about this from Fantasticon, actually. Let's put this up on here. Apparently at Fantasticon I was wearing green eyeshadow. So it's been posted around on Facebook. You. It's a good job. I love you guys. It is. Sorry, going back, yo bro, what you were saying there, the idea of that crater on that surface, it's fine. It's like the tire tracks in your SRV. They can only they only need to exist as long as you care about them. That's fine in a solo experience. As soon as you go into a multiplayer experience and you have this persistent galaxy like Elite does, then it becomes a problem, because if you make that crater, then technically everyone else needs to see that crater. And so that needs to go up to the server. And then anyone who lands on that planet needs to download that new information, that delta, which says, take the generated surface and then apply this crater on top of it every time you come near it to have the correct surface detail. Then you've also got the problem of, if someone else is near that area where you're making that crater, but they're in a different instance at the time, what happened? Does that crater just appear in front of them? Does do you spawn an NPC ship in to take your place so they see the same thing you're doing, that NPC ships, and then you've got a synchronization headache of trying to get an NPC to look and do what you're doing in another instance, but then it's just it becomes an absolute nightmare. There's so many problems that come out of trying to have a persistent one-to-one scale model of the universe, of the galaxy, and then layering on player-made changes to it. It's DJ's got a good point there. Player houses, bases, and planets can be done in like points of interest. That is an interesting. That's something that Michael Brooks we're talking about in Fantasticon. Actually, was one of the questions to him. Is like the of course, got the tourist beacons and things like that can be slotted in through a kind of a secret mechanism in the background, which is, kind of interesting. It's not eyeshadow, it's Parth going Risley. Yeah, exactly. It's like that episode of V when the skin starts putting on. Hello, Skip Rat. Greetings. The Hugging Monster. No, I don't think the Q&A session was recorded. There wasn't a great deal of leaked information. There wasn't anything major to announce. I think a lot of things have already been announced. So it was just more of kind of a friendly Q&A. Like I said, I think the biggest news from it was the fact that the next 2.2 update is going to get a beta period, which is absolutely fantastic. That's really, really good news, and hopefully something which becomes more of a persistent thing. Using that P word again, is it? More frequent, I should say. That was a freaky noise, wasn't it? Let's pop inside the hangar. Ship naming has now been said is official. Yay! Yes, I did see that on there, which is really, really awesome. That is something which is definitely coming. I don't think there was, to quote Sandro, no Samarco, no ETAs, no guarantees, but it is something which is coming. Prime 9 may have provoked another clashing crash tech rant. No, that's just me. That's just what I'm like, unfortunately. And the people that met me at Fantasticon will know I'm exactly like that. I will go off on one and talk about all of the really cool, intricate details of all the stuff. Because, I love it. That's one of the things which I always loved about Elite and Frontier and the whole franchise in general, is the massive technical work that goes on under the hood to give us this universe to play in. I think it is really, really awesome. And, it's so much hard work that goes into it. I just geek out over it. Snoz, you missed what Michael Brooks said about the album of it. So, yes, I asked Michael Brooks how much does he need to make an Alvin bobblehead, to which his response was basically... how much are you offering? I take bribes. So, yeah. Have you got some OJ? Have you got some OJ, Resri? And greetings, everybody. Nice to see you. Beverly, it was lovely to meet you as well. And Jester D, it was nice to meet you there as well, buddy. It was, I don't think that was the first time we've met, but it was nice to sit and chat with you. This is what I love about all of the Elite get-togethers, no matter which one it is. It's just lovely to meet up with everyone in the community and have a chat. That's the best thing about it. It's nice that there's all these things we can do which are, maybe not Elite-related. There was some really nice sci-fi stuff. I know the VR room was really popular in Fantasticon, which was great to see people trying it out for the first time, and my little boy was absolutely loving the VR experiences. So yeah, it was really good. Jester, yeah, exactly. Kickstarter incoming for Alvin bobbleheads. I think we just need to set a nice round figure. What do you reckon? What would be a nice figure to set for a Kickstarter, and we can put it forward to Mr. Brooks? £1,000? Would that be? We'd start off at £1,000. Start the bidding at 1,000 and see where we go from there. Yes, I've been working on my crew members as well. And so hopefully, let's see if we can find another couple of fun missions. Actually, I was doing some nice missions. I I've been looking for a pilot which has been to Hutton and got the Hutton mug, but I haven't found one yet. I wanted a Hutton veteran as a crew member, but I haven't found one yet. I think Jester did introduce himself to Alvin. I think he did. That's the problem. It's like when he's got commander names, you got real names, and everyone's like, was that? I'm much better with commander names. What's that probably? You like the idea of linking a profanity filter to the ship naming, but don't ban them. Just spawn a bajillion angry pirates. Oh, God. Maybe that's something you can get away with doing in the beta prime. See, like you could sneak that code in for a beta update only, and then it doesn't matter if it if it goes live. Make Eve Doc. Let's head on over there. Let's get these missions handed in and get back cash into them. $1 million, $1 million, yo, bro. Yes, exactly. Andy Tugboat, greetings, Commander. Yes, Tamaru. Mug. I need to get that game, don't I? Those of you who did come for the meal in the evening at Fantasticon, they saw me giggling when my son was playing on his tablet in this game where you can throw mugs at someone. It's like, mug, it's brilliant. I've got to get it. Oh my goodness, Vinny, that's a good question. Which revision of the Amiga mainboard do you have? I will take her apart and I'll have a look. I will check for you. I don't know off the top of my head. Sorry. Oh, Laverick, you did have a crew member, but now you have 1 ton of fertilizer. Oh. Yeah, it is kind of... the whole risk reward with crew members is a little bit scary now, because I must admit the the challenge of working them up through the ranks, it's harder than I thought it was going to be, and I'm really starting to get nervous now when I'm going to these scenarios with a crew member, and I'm thinking, I really don't want to lose that member. I'm almost kind of like if I'm going to take a dangerous mission, I want to set that crew member that I've been working on their rank to be inactive, to tuck them away, and just use a cheap throwaway crew member just to get through a hard mission. But oh, what's that, DJ? What's Malik been up to there? Malik's been doing it in... He likes it in VR, doesn't he? That's it. Simmer, how's the Keelback? I love the Keelback. The best thing about the Keelback is, for the pound for pound, for the money, it's got a really cheap rebuy. It doesn't matter if you get blown up, but you get all of the nifty bits and pieces. I mean, I've kitted out with just about everything I need to do any kind of random mission, which suits my playstyle down to the T, because I just dot and change and do things with the SRV, and then I'm doing, salvage missions, and then rescue the hostage missions, and do this and do that, and interdicting pirates, and it's brilliant because it's a great little weapon platform. I've got the fighter bay in there as well, so I can basically do the little bit of co-op, which is great fun to do. Fantastic little ship for the money, and then if you happen to get blown up, the rebuy is not as damning as having something like an Anaconda fully kitted out or something, so it's great fun to play with, and there's no real, not as much risk on there. What's that? Just as you're going to look in the attic, and then we can see you've got your Amiga 1200. Is that? No, I can't accept that. Oh my god. I'd be forever in your debt. I'd never had a 1200 and I always wanted one. I can't. No, I couldn't. No, that's... I don't know what to say. You've made me speechless. Graham Atone, double elite. Hey, congrats. So did you put the crew members apart for your main ship? That's what I've been doing as well. I've been going around in the fighter because I love it. The Taipan is actually a really... Ooh. Yeah, I'm getting the fire zone. It's easier than fighting you. I could probably take out a Viper, but nah. I'll get to some pew pew in a minute on my terms. That's non-consensual PvE conflict, you evil Viper, you. I'm supposed to rage quit combat log and make up an angry forum post, aren't I? That's what you're supposed to do. Ah, oh, come on, get off the pad. Oh, I said the swear words, didn't I? I said the combat log. Oh, I said it again. Oh, come on, he's off the pad. Yay! There we go. These dockers, I tell ya. What's on there? Vinith, you said you have a memory issue with that yellow screen problem. Yeah, I still need to pop out the expansion card and check. I mean, if it's just the expansion card, I know there's quite a few. I think Andy put one up in the chat there. I've just saved the link to that on the Amiga resource, and a couple of good websites which offer Amiga parts. So I can swap in some good old 30-pin sims into the expansion board and get it swapped out. Is that No Man's Sky? Who's playing No Man's Sky? Norman Sky. Norman Sky is actually a really good game. You should. I don't know whether they had to take it down for copyright reasons, but you should Google it and see if you can find it. It was like an 8-bit remake that someone put together over like a 48-hour gaming development thing. Fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. You should really check it out. That's a pirate base because the NPCs will attack you if you get near to the pirate base as well. Right, was that Get Planet Coaster instead? What are you guys talking about? I missed that part of the channel. Docking is combat logging. Oh good god, Tuplex, no. That'll be the next thing. Won't it? It's like, he didn't fight me, he ran to the station and docked instead of fighting me. It's like... yeah. Combat docking. I like that. Oh, Garzini, yeah, I had that thing. I had my first experience with an NPC the other day. It was an anaconda with a fighter ship, and I wasn't expecting it. I thought, 2-on-1 with the keel back and me flying the fighter. I thought I could take on an anaconda. I think it was only expert or master rated or something like that. So I thought, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, that's no problem. I can manage that. And then I interdict him, follow him down. I need to go to the Vaga system as well because I was an idiot and I looked at the thing and it was a 1-letter difference. Look at this. I'm in the Vaga system and I need to go to the Vard system. Damn it! And I accepted 2 missions because I'm a moron. See what I was doing. I need to get over there as well. Anything that wants to go to the system. So I interdicted the anaconda, started fighting. The next thing I know, poosh, out pops the Taipan, and I'm like, oh crap! This suddenly turned into a 2v2 matchup. But it wasn't as bad as I thought. I got away unscathed. Nothing there. There's got to be some. Nope. Nothing to the Vardar system. Well. Never mind. Refuel and go. What have we got in here? Almost need a clear all button there in the notifications panel. To the forums! Yes, Milson, that needs to be a catchphrase, doesn't it? Really, Chili Wasp, you got accused of docking meta at Forest Escape. Really, they're gonna bitch and moan because you raced to a dock and landed. Unbelievable. People just don't like losing. This is the problem with all of this stuff. On the other side of anything, heck, we're gonna go there. We've already mentioned combat logging a dozen times tonight. Anyway, we're gonna go there. I'm sure you've all seen on the forum the arguments this week about combat logging and all this stuff. There are two sides to every coin. That's all I'm gonna say. There is no reason complaining about it without considering all of the angles from all of the people, and this is the thing that I never see in these complaints. Brandon, you've been accused of metagaming the metagame. Love it. Love it. You're poking the people which are poking the thing. That's way too many dimensions for me to get my head around, Prime. Three sides if you want to be about nitpicking about coin. Yeah, technically, yeah, you can land a coin right on its edge. That's a good point, Sat. I like that. I like that. But yeah, the whole thing with it, combat logging. Yeah, I don't condone it. It's not a good thing. But at the same time, the reason why people do it are to avoid people which are just being assholes. I'm sorry, I'm going to go there and say it. That's why a lot of people do it. And the ones that complain about it the most are those people. that's the implicit problem, which, you know, is being skirted around all the time, is everyone is avoiding that conversation, and that's the problem. You know, if you don't want to get it, you know, let's say, you know, on the side of the fence of not wanting combat. If you don't want that combat, don't play open. You know, don't put yourself up for it. If you're not willing to accept the consequences of being interdicted and killed, don't play open. You shouldn't do it. There's no reason for you to do it. Play solo. Play in a private group. That's fine. What do I think about the investigation? It has the appearance of a scientific process, but it's ultimately biased and is leading to a conclusion from the outset. So yeah, not exactly an accurate investigation. And the fact that they explicitly attempted to invoke a certain response and then were kind of disappointed they didn't get that response. What do you expect? And Frontier are not going to tell you what they did and why you guys didn't get picked out, because if they tell you that and what's going on, then that gives you an insight into the process of identifying people which are trying to game the system. You know, you are not solving the problem, you're making it worse by trying to poke holes in it with a stick. I mean, Zach's come out and explained to everyone that, you know, there are cases that have fallen through the gaps, but there are also cases where the guys have been very, very thorough. I have seen the results of, you know, some of these very thorough investigations for both cheating and for combat logging, you know, all of those kind of things. And yes, I have seen some really, really fantastic results. It does prove that, yes, Frontier are only human, and yes, they could make mistakes on it. Oh, Ian, yes, but not playing in open, are you missing a lot of the interaction with other commanders? Why should they be allowed to dictate in which mode I play? Very good point. Yeah, this is the problem, is people want the positive plus sides that come along with open, which is that kind of, you know, David has spoken about it before, that kind of, oh, Commander Livingstone, I presume, sort of moments, which he really wanted to encourage some of that. And it is an awesome thing, and I wish it happened more often. And it to be fair, I've had a couple of situations where, you know, I've bumped into someone and I've helped them out and things like that, and kind of had an impromptu wing, which is absolutely fantastic. I love that. It's really, really great. I wish it was something which could happen more. But the problem is, you have to accept that if you're going to go into open, you could potentially get completely ganked by a wing of 4 heavily kitted out FDLs and stand absolutely zero chance of, you know, being defeated. And this goes on to the other side of the coin, that really you cannot approach a solution to combat logging without first coming with a complete overhaul to like a crime and punishment system, because at the end of the day, what I see a lot of the complaints, the reasons why people use combat logging is because they want all of that nice positive interaction, but they don't want the negative downsides of being attacked by a group of psychopaths. And I am going to use that term to define them, because quite frankly, you are not a pirate if you interdict players for the sake of just blowing them out of the sky. You know, if you steal their cargo and let them live, you're a pirate. If you are blowing the hell out of them in 3 seconds flat, you're a psychopath. You just want to cause chaos and feel powerful and dominate over other players. You know, that is a different kettle of fish entirely. So I can see it from both sides of the argument there. Furry Bear, combat login and Frontier action, in your opinion, Frontier has better things to spend the time on. Yeah, I mean, there is an entire team dedicated to dealing with it, and it is a continuous problem, and it's something which they're constantly trying to find the best way around it. It is really, really difficult. What's that? Chile, was it smarter ways to go about it without the need for open PvE? Yeah, I think the whole argument of needing another mode is like, no, I don't think it's really, really necessary. I like the idea of open being completely, open, not setting PvP flags on players and having to opt in and out of the combat and stuff like that. That's fine. Great quote from one of the anti-loggers is, "How are we supposed to have a meaningful interaction with players if they log?" To which you say, "Stop killing randomly." Yeah, exactly, bro. That is exactly the problem. Is that you get these people arguing. It's like, oh, no one should combat log, and it's like, well, nobody wants to be the victim. This is what I mean. Well, a very small minority of people are happy with being a victim. I've got to the point now. I mean, I've got so much cash, and like my rebuy is not a big deal. So I'm not really concerned if someone chooses to be a psychopath and destroy me in the game. It doesn't really bother me. It'll be a little bit of a pain in the backside, and I'll have to restart where I was and all that kind of stuff. Meh, it doesn't bother me. But for a lot of people, it's a big problem. It's good to know. Prime is saying, we know what you want to do with crime and punishment, but which you think is the best answer to the whole ball of stuff, but it's in constant argument of where it comes in priorities. Sadly, time is finite. Yeah, exactly, and that's on. Greetings, Commander. Nice to see you. Yeah, this is a problem. I think the crime and punishment answer is the solution to all of these problems. I like the ideas that have been thrown around about like a fugitive system, that continuous player killings leads to a progressively higher and higher like negative status, like you become like infamous across the galaxy, not just in system wide, but across an entire region, and that region gets bigger and bigger as you perform more and more player kills. So those particular players which are considered to be the worst offenders in these cases, causing a lot of the issues, will gradually and incrementally start to get pushed into this sort of areas where they can only go to anarchy systems. They can't dock, they can't use services in systems which are in any kind of police control and stuff like that. Particularly things like like police responses, which would see interdictions occurring in supercrews and spawn immediately, because there's a lot of issues with the way that, like, the wings with interdict. Blind as a bat, greetings. Nice to see you there. I'm waffling on, sorry. But like where a wing of players will interdict you in an area and blow you up in about 5 seconds flat, and then there's no police response that comes quick enough for that. So you would love a PvP war mode server with a power play system, enforced being part of the powers, and then a PvE open mode where no PvP is calls, where we are all Pilots Federation, and then a solo play mode can be remade into adventure story mode. If the old ways of telling lead stories, we can interact with it more, other than riddles and out of game events. Yeah, that's interesting, but that kind of splits the game off into almost 3 separately completely different products. And that was one of the things that was mentioned as one of the biggest reasons why offline mode couldn't be a thing way back when at the start, because it would effectively be 3 games that the team would have to maintain and support, and it becomes a massive headache. to deal with that, so I can understand why they wouldn't want to go down that route. Yes, Stephen Usher! Greetings, Commander, nice to see you now. Yeah, I think the whole fugitive system was something that was in the DDF. I like the idea of it. I think it's an elegant solution to that problem. It becomes something which is... I think it serves all camps well, actually. And it definitely kind of... You know, I think if it comes to the point where the people which are persistently player killing are going into like high sec systems and they are getting interdicted like every 30 seconds by police NPCs and scanned, it's going to get to the point where they are so frustrated with being in those zones in open. I mean, particularly something like, you know, if a CG is put into a system which is high sec and these particular players which cause problems at the community goals are then getting absolutely mobbed by the local police forces, it's really going to put a dampener on their ability to interact with those kind of things, for sure. And I know a lot of them are then turned around and say, like, oh, well, that's not fair because we can't blockade a system, and, you know, there's all that kind of stuff. But when you think about it, it's like, well, really, a player freighter is not going to stand a chance against a wing of 4 FTLs. It's not really... it's not really a competition at that point. Right, I need to get back to the Aratus sector. There it is. CQY. Frameshift drive charging. DDF crime replenishment had a faction-wide fugitive status, and you seem to remember that was what Sandra was pushing for. Yeah, I like the idea of that. So, you know, if you're in a particular zone, a particular region controlled by a faction, you know, it persists across that area. Because not only that, I mean, that becomes an interesting kind of aspect for the power play thing as well, is that if a region of space gets taken over by a different faction or a background simulation and power play, I suppose, you know, it would kind of move that system away. So there would be kind of an incentive for players to try and move the faction ownership of a system if they, you know, are part of a gang which is effectively fugitives in that region. So there's some interesting stuff there. There's, you know, some great aspects of how that could improve the system. But like Prime was saying, yeah, I mean, it's a question of when that can fit on the priority list. So many things that need to get done, and that's the problem. Relax in a mood, newbie here. Greetings, Commander. Nice to see you. Been playing for 4 weeks. And you just got an Asp before. Oh, excellent. That's good progress for 4 weeks. Well done. You need to get today for exploring. Loving the stream. Thank you very much. I love to see you here. Always great to chat along to the community. I mean, normally we have a guest on Kerrash Landing, but I've been very busy. Everyone's recovering from Fantasticon, which was a wonderful meetup. Snaz, no! Don't mention the godlike power, Snaz. No, no. I mean, I'm happy I've got my godlike powers because I can call Zach and ask him to do stuff. It's great. Is that for everybody? Is it ICIG? Is that like in-game, in-character solution? Is that what you mean there? Exactly, Malik. I mean, that's you know, that is a good thing as well. Is that, you know, if there was more risk to those particular commanders, then maybe they wouldn't go with the most expensive ships into these regions. They might think twice about it if they're going to face the rebuy screen as much as their victims are facing the rebuy screen. And I think that's where the whole balance comes in. That if there is, you know, let's just say as a thought experiment, open was the only mode you had to play in open, or not. At the moment, it's an unfair advantage towards those with massively powerful combat ships because freighters don't stand a chance. If those heavily modified combat ships are effectively getting interdicted left, right, and centre as frequently as the freighters are, you know, and there's a kind of a balance there, I think it becomes something which is a lot more intriguing as a kind of working on both sides of the spectrum. Yes, exactly, Mr. Usher. Yeah, exactly. One of the main selling points of the game originally was that it would be a game of consequences, and if you chose piracy, then you would find it difficult in a high sec system, and that's exactly what I think really needs to be in there. There really needs to be that immediate feedback, because we've got that in the interface now when you're jumping to a system, and you can filter the maps by the state and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think having something which is a direct consequence of those mechanics would be absolutely fantastic. That if you are someone who is going around doing things which are seen as legitimately acts of evil, then you should have a matching punishment to go along with it. What's that saying about invulnerability? No invulnerability. Absolutely, Snoz. Yeah, that's. I see where you're coming, blindness about. Yeah, the it's something which is typically a game sort of mechanic. I mean, when you look at like GTA has the passive mode, doesn't it? So if someone's constantly ganking you, you can just set passive mode for 60 seconds or whatever and get away from them. But that's just because they don't have a real mechanic for switching servers, just like Elite doesn't have a way of choosing which instance you're going into and stuff like that. But you can kind of get away with that by switching modes. You can go to a private group or something like that. So there are some controls you have over that. I like the idea of it, like Snoz is getting at there, is like keeping it completely in-game, in-universe. It's no kind of unrealistic, because I mean that effectively is like a PvP flag that you set on a player, then saying that I'm not interested in PvP, don't touch me. It's like what's that move? If player bounties were still reasonable and hard to get rid of by a suicide winder, then there would be the player-based bounty hunter group that could deal with the infamous what was that? The RMT transaction kiboshed it. Yes, yeah. So early on there was the player bounty system within it. It was the kind of like local bounties you could see on the bulletin boards and things. Bulletin boards, there's the old speak coming in. So you could see the worst offending ones, but of course people were kind of exploiting that by setting crazy bounties on their head and then offering up the
Kilo Echo Romeo. You are approaching a federal port, Commander.
flight control. Shut up! I'm talking. Offering up their heads in a sidewinder so that they could transfer crazy amounts of credits to each other. Maybe add a toggle so the higher infamy level, the less your ship rebuy would be covered with the insurance. That's part of the stuff I think which was discussed actually. But yeah, I see what you mean. Is that the more infamous you become, you potentially have to pay more and more for your ship to rebuy.
Be on the lookout for other vessels in the area.
So DJ, you pirate NPCs in higher sex systems, so you just force the traders you want to warp away. This will only net you a fine when you jump after them or until you're in a low sec. Oh, there we go. Docked. Let's cash in this thing. Yeah, and that's the other side of it, isn't it? There's so many different gameplay styles and different kind of activities within the game that you need to make sure that there are no changes which push it too far one way or the other and cause issues for people playing in a particular style. What's that? Yo bro, how does WoW get around the PvP and griefers? The PvE servers are multiplayer though. I mean, WoW basically has an invulnerability flag. You cannot hit another player. If you're on a PvE server, you can't attack another player unless they actively, choose to go into PvP mode. Yeah, that's right, Snoz. Yeah, I mean that's the way I look at it as well. Is the whole private group system. I see that as like that optional kind of switching instances and all that kind of stuff. Open, I very much see as it's you're consenting to PvP. When you click on open, it's like you better be damn well sure you're going to accept you're going to get ganked. Absolutely, that's just what's going to happen. through some mission things we've got on here. Liberating 6 encrypted correspondence. Covert civil unrest. What was I doing? I had some really, really good pirate missions the other day. Let's see if I can get some more. Clean out the sentry skimmers. Boom, data delivery. Skimmers are nice easy one. We can get that done. Try and get some more federal missions, really. I can come back to these, I think. Mining. I might do a little bit of mining at some point. Just to change it up. Yeah, exactly, Prime 9. Yeah, that, again, a much more concise way of putting it. There's never a way to make any choice without annoying someone else in the player base. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cannot keep everyone happy. Game, you know, Elite is a game of so many facets, so many different play styles and things like that. There is never a solution which is going to keep everyone happy. That's just par for the course. The only thing you're hoping is that expiration data has had fresh hamsters in the wheel. You don't want to lose more data this time. Yeah, yo, bro. I mean, yeah, that's a good kind of analogy, really, from like the RuneScape side of things. You know, not imposing some form of invincibility, but Maxos, greetings, Ambassador. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, not imposing this kind of like magical invulnerability on players, but making it so damn hard in these high security areas for player killing to occur. That's the thing, I think, which needs to be enforced. And in making that change, I think it would massively improve these kind of scenarios that we keep hearing about. Royal Hanky, yes, absolutely love Fantasticon. It was lovely to meet up with you again, buddy. And I think we had a fantastic time, didn't we? It was a great night out. And good fun all round. Let's go to Kent's Inheritance first. We got there. We got Federation and Empire. I need to cash in those things as well when I get a chance. DJ, you look at the old games like Ultimate Line. If you killed a player, you got flagged as a murderer, which meant all NPC guards would attack you on sight. Players would attack you without any fear of reprise, and killers had no safe ports at all until they got killed, which they ended up sitting as a ghost and needed to be online for a set number of hours until they ever paid off their bad deeds or stat loss. And yeah, and exactly. This is the kind of thing like Prime was saying. It is. There's a lot of things that could be done, but it is pretty much a complete overhaul to the way that the crime and punishment system works, and I think that's definitely what's needed before you can start addressing punishing people from combat logging. Is you need to be fixing that side of it, making it so that there's no need for people to combat log. And I think that's the thing which people are missing at this all the time. It's like, why fix combat logging when you can remove all of the things which are incentivizing people to do it? You know, why are people combat logging? They're combat logging because they're getting themselves into situations that they can't survive, getting frustrated and pulling the plug. Those are the players which really, you don't want to punish them, you want to encourage them, you want to give them systems which support them so that they're, you know, not getting ganked, not getting into those situations. And then the only remaining players which are combat logging just to irritate people, then deal with that smaller minority. You know, that's the way to deal with it. You know, not this kind of crazy thing where people are expecting Frontier to somehow magically break down the walls of technical impossibilities and prevent players from pulling the network cable at the back of their machine with code, which, Prime, if you do manage to write software which can do that, I tip my hat to you, my friend, because that would be incredibly impressive. Oh, thank you, Snars. That's the first time. Yes, you need to lie down. Snoz was nice. We are good, Max Ursa. Yes, we are good. We had a lovely time at Fantasticon. It was lovely to meet everyone, and it was great to bring the boys to the event and meet everyone. I think they behaved reasonably well, considering. Hopefully they didn't annoy anyone. Oh, I'm going straight down. I need to pull up. Garzina, how about upon scanning a ship in Supercruise and seeing a wanted status, you'd be able to call the police who would send a response team? Again, that's an interesting mechanic. That's kind of like the Frontier Elite 2 had the help my ship is under attack thing. Which is obviously now is just taken over by the report crimes. It's just automatic. But yeah, more systems which allow that kind of thing. But definitely, I like the idea of the game is automatically taking control of that. So if a wanted player is in Super Cruise, really, I'd like to see the NPCs responding to that in a much more robust and immediate fashion. Because to be fair, when these particular player killer types are in performing these actions, they can get their work done a lot quicker than what the NPCs can respond, quite frankly. Absolutely, Resra. Yeah, exactly. These devs need to sort it out. Get these. Oh, come on. There's a get. Oh, that confused me. Get this software poking into meat space and sorting out these damn humans, Electrocute them at the keyboard via some feedback through the USB port, Any one player killing gets immediately electrocuted. Boom! Transgression wiped. Oh, how many skimmers did I need to pop? 8. Right, we'll come back in a second. Blind is bad. Banning griefers is not as good as having in-game mechanics of quicker and increasingly stronger security force response. Banning them won't teach them anything. Yeah, and exactly, that's some of the stuff that we're kind of agreeing on, I think, is just that is just not an effective mechanic. What you need to be doing is making the game effectively have a more believable response to these players which are performing these kind of actions. And if that becomes a point where it's effectively too frustrating for these people to cause this pain and suffering, that they're just not going to want to do it anymore, and also remove all of the issues which cause people to want to combat log, then that becomes a much more effective solution to the problem, I believe. What's that? Prime Sony. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah. Challenge accepted. Prime saying, sadly, no, you don't know much about the hardware level networking as you do the fashion design. Ian, why is it NPCs seem to be able to kill warrants scan me in Super Cruise? I haven't seen that effect. I didn't realise they could do that. Actually, most people have different ideas about what a griefer is too. Some simply think it's someone who attacks you, which is absurd. Yeah, and again, that's herein is the problem, is defining a crime and punishment system. You must first define the rules and the laws and what becomes acceptable behaviour and all that stuff. What's that? Res, you need is player a Muppet flag flag on the commander account? That's it. If true, shock. There we go. Morris, I personally also that systems that are holding a community goal should have ultra high security presence, and we all know the AI has some sidesteps they can take on it. Yeah, and but is that really the case? I mean, that's the question of balance, isn't it? You don't want to completely prevent player interaction happening in a CG, and that's one of the good things about it. You want that risk reward, but you also want it to be balanced. So you don't want to exactly daylight. Yeah, that's a good idea. The carrot as opposed to the stick. Yeah, so rather than punishing players for getting into these interactions, you want to make it a reasonable expectation of the reward. give players a panic button in the cockpit, which which immediately calls the cop if it goes below 50% hull. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is that you want to encourage those player interactions. You want freighters to be playing in open, so that there's a meaningful and interesting player dynamic, and people interacting with each other and all that kind of stuff. But you want the risks to be balanced, so that let's say, for argument's sake, you have someone who's in a cargo hauling community goal. They've got a rebuy of 500,000, and then, for argument's sake, the people attacking them have also got a rebuy of 500,000, just to make it really nice and easy to think about. So you almost want that, if they manage to take down a freighter and destroy him, and he has that rebuy cost, you almost want them to be immediately jumped on and ganked by the police, and effectively pestered and pestered and pestered until they do get the rebuy screen themselves, so that human player who did get killed cargo hauling has some time to kind of recover and actively play the role they want to play and stuff like that. So it becomes balanced. But how do you balance that? I mean, that is such a difficult thing to do. Prime 9, the frustrating thing is seeing it from the other side. There's a popular assumption that it's still a problem because we don't know how to deal with it. We've no shortage of ideas, but the problem usually comes down to trying to carve a hole in the schedule, yeah. And when you carve a hole, something else jumps over the thing. Yeah, exactly. I can imagine, well, you guys have got a million different planned systems and ways of dealing with it. Yeah, absolutely. But by no means it's like we're not discussing it just because we don't think you're doing it. I think it's interesting to hash it out. I think it's an interesting conversation, and I know you guys have probably had that conversation a million times and have already considered all the possible angles. What's that K-word saying? Is I wish you could instance entire systems and have some persistence. I mean, that effectively becomes private servers, doesn't it? That's what you're talking about there. That's the only real way that's going to work. And again, that becomes that nightmare where Frontier would have to share the server code, and they'd have to make it publicly available, and it becomes something that has to be maintained separately, and yeah, it becomes a real problem. DJ, make combat last longer, lower DPS on everything, give NPCs time to react. Again, that is an interesting one, DJ. Yeah, absolutely. That's something which I know the balance is there, and I think Prime, that's something that you've been showing in your threads, actually, is that kind of tweaking the DPS on a lot of the weapon types and stuff like that. And it's definitely something that I'd like to see as well. I mean, I've seen that with the NPCs, is that since 2.2, combat against NPCs does tend to last longer. There's more interaction, there's more stuff going on there. But again, if you get these really, really heavily modified, FDLs with the engineer kitted out weapons with all the toys and all the stuff, they become so massively OP. How the heck do you balance that and still give those players a satisfying and meaningful bump in statistics for their hard work of working towards getting those engineer modifications? There's such a range of ship capability. When you go from like the basic stock sidey with nothing all the way up to the heavily modified combat ships on the high end, how do you balance that curve of ships? You can't. There's no real way you can do that. What's that Prime saying? There's certainly some kind of Pilots Federation driven reputation, similar status. In extreme cases, restrict people to the point where non-alchemy systems simply won't allow them to dock. Yeah, that's definitely the sort of fugitive system that I think a lot of players would love to see that in game, and definitely, like you said, for the really extreme end of the spectrum, which there will be some players which are way out there. Wanted posters for griefers in the Galnet news, or assassination missions against them. I mean, that's a good idea, and I like that kind of in-game mechanic. It's something which, again, the DDF discussed a lot. It was something which came up during the Kickstarter. It was a really interesting idea, but it's effectively a witch hunt, and it's a problem. It's like, how do you fairly control that in a way, because it's effectively telling all of the players out there playing bounty hunters to go in mob and gank a player. and there's a risk that that system could be abused somehow, it becomes a massive headache. It's a really difficult thing to do. I like the idea of it. I don't know how that would be balanced. Moose, nice to see you there, buddy. Engineers completely screwballed time to kill an engineer ship can explode. A non-engineered ship before, before you have time to even fire it out. Well, the engineer versus engineer can be pretty lengthy, and a non-engineered ship wouldn't be able to put a dent in an engineered ship. Yeah, and exactly that's the problem. Is that engineering ships is further pushed out that curve. It's effectively turned that. A ship curve into a kind of exponential curve on the top end there, which has made it really impossible to balance on that side of thing. Mobbing the mobber. It is an interesting idea, blind as a bat. Yeah, I don't want to kind of completely throw it out. I just think it's a really risky strategy, and there's a lot of possible problems. Edith, I like the idea that pirate stations would become a thing, isolated hideouts for scum of the galaxy. I mean, it's kind of there. The basis is there, isn't it? You see the outpost. I mean, I just left that previous outpost, which was pirate run. But yeah, I like the idea that those kind of places would become the only places you could go to if you effectively had fugitive status. If you were, so infamous in a particular region, in a particular faction, that you had no choice but to go to those kind of stations, and you effectively were pushing yourselves out of the places like the high-tech systems where you could get all the best equipment, because you didn't stand a chance going into them. You're not going to get to a high-tech system, and that therein becomes the problem, is that should those players that are acting that way effectively be banned from that area of the game, and being able to go to high-tech systems and get all of the equipment that they want for building their ships up. How do you play that role into it? Do you then have to introduce some kind of black market for modules so that they can acquire it but at a higher cost, and that becomes part of the risk of being a pirate. Jadeite. No, let's just rescue the poor abandoned commander there. I think we need 4 out of... Oh no, that's count inheritance. We need... Oh, that didn't count. Did I go to the wrong place? Did I seriously go to the wrong place? Am I being... I'm a noob. I went to the wrong place. Oopsie. Oh, Chili Wasp. Used to have a 5 million bounty on your head, and it was nice to get on the board. Yeah, I like the the player leaderboard thing. I like the idea of it. It's good. But again, it's that kind of like was said earlier on, it got abused and become a problem. Handbrake is on, yes. Gankers would like the publicity. Timer, yeah, that is exactly the thing that you'll see more of that. But again, is that a bad thing? This is the thing that's got to be considered. If they want to be infamous, if they want to be known as the the Dreadlord pirate of the Aritis CQ94YC sector, that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's players like to be all kinds of different styles. I don't, I wouldn't want to discourage the, oh, damn it, I got a bounty because I took the wrong skimmers in the wrong location. It's only a 7-minute bounty, it's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't want to discourage piracy style of play and that kind of, just being an infamous player in a known area. I'd just like to make it so there's a reasonable punishment for continuously doing it, and like that reasonable expectation of how the game is going to treat you as a player, that kind of in-game, in-lore expectation for how you're going to happen. Zomtaslar, not tempted just for the dumbfire mission spamming ship for skimmer missions. Could do. I like playing with this SRV. Operation Distractor Crash claims its first success. Curse you, Prime 9! It worked. It worked. Right. Definitely need to go to Nobal's Inheritance, isn't it? That's. I will check and I will double check when I'm in Super Cruise. Silly crash face. Rescue there. There are some that are simply legitimate businessmen, sir. All these allegations are simply a misunderstanding. Absolutely, exactly. Some people just want to be pirates, and that's the thing. It's like I wouldn't want the crime and punishment system to be so negative, so punishing, so damning for players doing certain actions in the game that it would discourage that style of play. I wouldn't want that at all. I want it to. I want the carrot, not the stick. That's a fantastic analogy, and I absolutely want to, drive that point home. I wouldn't want it to be so punishing that it's, not rewarding to play in that kind of piracy style. I like the interactions of, taking a player's cargo and forcing them into those kind of interactions, but not killing them, not costing them a huge amount of rebuy. I like those interactions. I think they're great, and when they work, they're fantastic. But it's player killing, which is the problem. Yeah, DJ, piracy is fun. Killing a trade ships is not piracy. You're putting yourself to work. Yeah, exactly. Out of work. You are, for multiple reasons. The fact you're giving yourself a much higher bounty to rebuy. You're not making any money. It's not as fun. It's not. Well, I don't find it as fun. I mean, this is the problem at the end of the day. Is people have different definitions of what they find fun. Some people just like dominating players and beating them, which I don't think that's not particularly. Prime 9, exactly. Piracy is generally okay, murder is bad, that's a problem. You get these players which just like to think that they can dominate other players and just beat them from the play. I don't see that as a challenge, I don't see that as interesting. If you want PvP, you want to encourage these bounty hunter mechanics. You almost want, like with the player leaderboard thing, you want people which are infamous murderers to be highlighted in Super Cruise, like we were discussing earlier on, so that bounty hunter types can spot them and go after them. I think that there's a kind of an interesting play of that then, if these wings of heavily modified furred lances, if they are getting lit up like a Christmas tree in Super Cruise as being immediately hostile targets to everyone in Super Cruise, for example, is a kind of an interesting way of approaching that problem. So that then it kind of encourages these wings of 4 heavily modded FDLs, equally matched as bounty hunter groups to go after said players in open. I do wonder how many of those pirate groups would then suddenly consider combat logging themselves if they're effectively equally matched or outgunned and outnumbered. It becomes an interesting idea. Killing traders in open and asking why traders are not in open is stupid. Yes, DJ. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. Killing people, because this is the problem. They don't want traders. They don't want piracy victims. They just want targets. They just want victims. And this is what I see with a lot of these people. Oops. One second. Yeah, a lot of these people, and it's not everyone. There are people that do want to engage in piracy in a meaningful player interaction. That's great. That's fine. But if you want to just kill people, you can't complain that there's no people to kill if you're forcing them all away. Break. Yes, that was nearly success number 2 for Operation Distractor Crash there. Nearly slammed into it. Quad power. Quad damage. Quake was basically... Yeah, exactly. Quite. This is the... Oh, you're talking about CQC? Yes. I love a bit of CQC. But exactly, that's the thing. The great thing about CQC is everyone is equally matched. That's you get rid of that ship power curve that we were talking about earlier on. You get rid of all of those problems with that because everyone's in pretty much equally matched ship with, level peggings, and it becomes a question of skill. And you don't see these people which complain about not being able to have these interactions in open. You don't see them in CQC because, quite frankly, the vast majority of them, I don't believe they want a even matchup. They don't want an entirely skill-based interaction. They want to be able to dominate players. That's what I see as the problem, and that is the underlying elephant in the room with all of these discussions, and that's why I don't take any of these points seriously when people make these investigations into combat logging and argue about doing something about combat logging, because really they're coming from a biased opinion that they want victims for their ganking player, effectively. Relax in mood. You got destroyed for heading to Vancouver Dock the other day. The person said sorry, he only wanted your cargo. He said it was your fault for flying without shields. He came back and dropped a few tons of gold to cover your buyback. See, that is a fantastic example of good player interaction. And that's exactly... I've seen similar stories happen on there. And that's one of the great things about that kind of interaction going on there for player stuff. And it just goes to prove that there are players out there which aren't complete jerks. They're not psychopaths. They're not trying to dominate players and just be murderers effectively. And that's the kind of interactions that I'd like to see encouraged by by these interactions. Also, Rez was saying that exactly. An even playing field isn't fair. But that's that's the problem with trying to encourage people to go into CQC. They don't really want an even playing field, do they? Edith, yeah, exactly. I've had interactions with polite pirates. They've let me go. I've dropped cargo for them. I've I had an interaction with them. They've scanned me and they saw that I had an empty hold and things like that, and they've let me go. There's been no issues with that kind of thing, and I love those kind of interactions. But these, like I said, these outright player murders need to be effectively punished, and it will come eventually when the guys have got the opportunity in the schedule to do it, like Prime was saying. So Yogo was saying, this is where you have no sympathy, but you'll be open to punishing combat loggers, but because it's Gankus who have brought it up, you've dismissed it on the first week. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. If it was a genuine concern overall by a majority of people, and I can see it being a legitimate thing that Frontier can address sooner, but because it's a problem which has been brought up by people that don't want combat logging because it effectively it is ruining something that they want. It's like they're coming from an unbiased opinion straight away, It's a problem. Does lowering your signature even work anymore? Also putting your ship into a gentle roll and drift off. Yeah, it works, but I think, again, this is one of the things that the engineers has massively changed, because, obviously you have the emissive rounds which cause your signature to bump up, and you also, the various modifications you can do for keeping your heat up, heat weapons and stuff like that, and that's what you tend to see, is you see these kind of groups of ships that can work together. Palladium. Palladium. Don't mind if I do. Where's that juicy palladium? It's around here somewhere. Yeah, so you see these, kind of ships working together to bump up your heat signature and stop you from being able to high wake out and that kind of stuff. So, there's mechanics there which make it more difficult for you to survive those interactions. But again, there's nothing which really makes it bad for those players taking part in that activity. Actually, it was not a very good pilot if I let them run away without any consequences. It's not easy to disable a ship. Yeah, and that's one of the things which I liked with like the missile balance and stuff that come in, where it like causes module damage and ships to the engines to be disabled and things like that. It's a nice thing because, like I said, it encourages the player interaction, but at the same time, there's no way you can really balance that player interaction without giving a benefit to people who want to player kill. That's the problem. Royal Hanky, some gankers do combat log too. Yes, I've seen it in videos as well, and that's exactly the point. You can't complain about something which is, from the side of argument that you're coming from, is something which is actively being abused just as much. Okay, Wartley, even if you drop it at Super Cruise and you drop your signature, like go silent running, maybe if you're hull tanking or something like that, and you drop a heat sink and all that kind of stuff to drop your signature from it. It's something you can do, but I mean, I've seen people come into your instance and just kill you so quickly that you don't stand a chance. There's no way you can get away. There's nothing you can do. One of the best tactics for this, actually, that I have noticed, if you spot someone in Super Cruise who you believe is basically going to hunt you down and attack you, your best tactic is to just go full on speed at a planet and just smash into the exclusion zone of planet before they can start interdicting you, because obviously your drop out of space, into normal space like it was an emergency dropout, and then once you're in that dropout zone, then fly away from that dropout zone, in normal screws, like you said, drift away, and fly to stop, that sort of thing. That is actually a reasonably good tactic because they lose track of you in Super Cruise. And that's some of the stuff is like these advanced techniques are not something which are easy for people to learn. So having a technique for getting away from these people it's hard to teach players, particularly new players coming into the game, and new players tend to be the targets of players that want easy player kills. Andy Pipkin says, maybe the fix is the way insurance works. Traders have low cost, high payout. Any ship with weapons raises the cost and lowers the payout, and insurance need to be maintained at a certain level. I mean, that's kind of a variation on a theme of the thing we said earlier on about the more infamous as a player killer, as a murderer you become, the less willing the insurance is to pay out for your rebuy. That's a similar sort of idea there. Again, another thing that could do it. Something from Shiana's Geek there, Prime. Another idea you had before the details of engineers release has a module that reverses the polarity of an interdictor. And you high wake and leave the interdicting ship maybe somewhere they don't have fuel to leave. It's an interesting thing. That would be something to play around with a beta, maybe. An interesting module. An FSD overcharge or FSD feedback module or something like that causes them to misjump. Anyone interdicting you can. Or it'd be nice as a kind of just something for yourself that would, if someone's interdicting you as a you know, a cargo holder or, you know, a victim of an interdiction, to have a button which, you know, when you're being interdicted, just kind of emergency high wake, you know. Court, you handed in 4 missions today from Mats. You forgot to empty your cargo first. Oh no! So you didn't get the the materials for the missions because there's no overflow. That would be a nice quality of life improvement, I think, to just come up with a. Are you sure? When you hit that claim reward button. DJ, this is why we need to, what you said, yeah, the slower overall DPS to stretch out combat. Give player, oh, I missed that. I went straight past, oh, it's a little satellite, look at that. Hello. It's an ancient satellite. Wizard. Right, I saw another signal somewhere in that direction. There we go. I need a few more skimmers. Let's see if we can find some. Ooh, wrong one again. Silly crash face. 4 more skimmers. And I need to high wake out to get rid of that bounty on my head. Commander Shan, greetings, Commander. Nice to see you there. Oh, what's that from Prime there? FSD lasso. Grab someone and jump away with them somewhere stupid. That's a good one. I like that. Yeah. If someone pulls you into normal space, yeah, you can high wake and pull them away with you. Oh yes, it's almost like your FSD wake becomes like a black hole sucking them in. Yeah. The FSD. I need to think of a catchy name to him. Shan, money penalties don't work. Murdering sector needs to have a plus and a minus gameplay decision. Minus is you can't dock with Super Power Station. Plus is you get discounts at Lawless Station. Yeah, that's a good positive. That's kind of like the carrot instead of the stick. Absolutely. That's a good idea. And that's something, I mean, we were touching on some of that early on, Shan, but yeah, that's exactly the sort of things we were talking about, that you effectively get locked out of high security systems and things like that. You don't have access to them. Oh, we got an outcrop. What have we got here? Oh, and Shan, whilst you're here, how did your record attempt go, buddy? I didn't catch up with you after. I hope it went well. It was a shame it clashed with Fantasticon. It'd been lovely to catch up with you. What's up, Dirk-D? What do you say? Is there some code in the mission generator to give you modular terminals every second mission if you don't get them? But become rare if you don't need it. I think there are some, maybe not for the modular terminals specifically, but there are some fudge factors that kind of come into play with a couple of things where you see things like NPCs of a specific type spawning more frequently if you take a mission to obtain them. But yeah, I would like to see more, say gameplay mechanics which make it more easy to obtain certain things if you're trying to get them, because it does seem to be massively frustrating trying to get certain things at the moment. What have we got here then? Salvaged alloys. It's a bit meh. It's a bit meh. Right, let's keep. You have entered a trespass zone. You have now exited a trespass zone. Transgression scrapped. What's that there? I missed what Humbo said there. It's called troll code, yeah. It sounds a bit expensive. Prime notes. Before I realised engineers is currently just modding existing modules. Oh, sorry, I missed that. But you put 40 hours in a beta, so you loved it. December the 1st, 9 PM, the mountain opens. I missed that. Is this part of the dead site thing that everyone's been going to... Did I say that? Oh. You went to Wild Crash. We need 250. You got 362. Excellent. So you smashed the world record then. Awesome. What if combat logging would cause a misjump? Nate Hon, that is an interesting thing. Hey, no, Shan, that's something that probably could be done server side, isn't it? You know, you get a disconnect whilst in combat. You could track that server side and just spawn the player in a random system, so they might have to, self-destruct because they're too far away to get back. I like that. That is an interesting and fun way of solving that problem. But again, the issue is that's potentially damning for someone who does, kind of suffer an unfortunate network disconnect whilst legitimately in combat. Shan, besides, you cannot balance PvP, whether it's gear-based and there are random stats involved. You try and balance PvP, become a never-ending cycle of meta and nerfing. Yeah, exactly. You just accept it will always be meta. PvP can never be balanced, and no one cares how fast or slow you kill things in PvE as long as you're not competing with them. Yeah, I mean, this is something we've said several times as well, Shan, and I agree. Who are you competing with? You've got yourself to compete. You're setting your own challenges. You're setting your own goals. You've got no one else to compete against but yourself. What's that? Zombie? I don't think that's a fair thing to say. There is a lot of depth in the missions. There's a lot going on. It's just not easy to uncover them as a player. Like I said, that scanning mission I did at the start of the stream tonight, didn't even realise that mechanic was in there. If you go off and do the missions, there's too much of an emphasis by players to go and do the missions with the highest payout. If you ignore that and just pick the different kinds of missions, the lower paying courier ones and things like that, and go off and do the different activities, you'll find there is actually a lot of different branching missions and different things can happen to you. But there's a lot of randomness to them as well. There's a lot of RNG going on there. So you might be unfortunate and not see various branches of different mission types. But I do encourage you to go off and try the different different mission types. Alright, Ian, nice to see you, buddy. Good luck with your stream later on. I'm sure we'll be catching up with you later in your chat. We will gate crash your party, no doubt. What's up, DJ? Saying to Commander, does he say pirating missions could stand to pay more for all the hassle you go through? Yeah, and again, that's the carrot needs to be bigger for the. Yes, I see you, Mr. Security Ship. I'm going to get a bounty on my head for attacking these skimmers, but I don't care. I don't care. I needs it. What is it? Is that a python or a viper? No, it's an eagle. Silly crash. I should be able to do. But that is enough. Excellent, excellent. Sweet, and now we just need to head back to Kent's inheritance. Let's just... Anything juicy here? I don't know. System Defense Force. He didn't see me. You never take me alive, copper. What's up, Malik? Why risk a $500 million ship for a few thousand cargo? Low temp are kind of getting there, but still meh, and no players have significant quantities of that. Yeah, exactly. That's the. There needs to be some kind of balance going on there, so that you're not. I must have got back into my ship when I picked up that. Taffy. Yeah, that's the stuff. 20,000 credit. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, those kind of interactions. I mean, if there was missions that were fun and interesting. Why are you parking next to the copper, you stupid? Juliet, that is a stupid place to land. You realise I've got a friggin' bounty. Okay, it's a dormant bounty, but that's besides the point. I've got a bounty. God damn it! I'm gonna be having words with you. I'm gonna dock your pay, Juliet. Parking next to a copper when I've got a dormant bounty on my head. Damn it. Shan, you're on NPC pilot number 12145. I know. I like the way that works. I was saying that earlier on. I think that's what I've decided to do, Shan, because I'm not worried about the cash that I'm losing. Look at that, right in front of a copper. I'm not worried about the cash I'm losing. I'm going this way. But I'm kind of concerned about losing I've got a illicit cargo as well. Stolen occupied escape pod. And steal it. Oh well. Sorry. It's only a kilometre down to the surface. You'll be fine. You're fine. They're pretty sturdy, those escape pods. Bye. I'm sure someone else will save them. Yeah, obviously that's definitely the most profitable way to use the crews, kind of like throw away crew members. But I want to try and work on one. I want to try and get it up as get the crew member up as high as I can through the ranks. But definitely for like the higher risk things, I think I'll just be putting them into inactive and swapping them out. But yeah, going back to the kind of pirate murderer, yes, duplex. I am my own hypocrite there. Murderer, jettison them. Off they go. They'll be fertilizer. It's fine. Timeroo! See you in the Void Commander. Thanks for tuning in. Let's look and let's get back in. No, I haven't got an active bounty, have I? No. Why am I cordial? I thought I was higher than cordial. Ooh, is that the local rep for the faction that owns this area? Is it? Where am I? Wanted by the Glizé Industries. Whoops. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I'm allied with the 329 Future, cordial with the Conservatives, allied. Friendly with those guys, but I need to clear that bounty. Oopsie. Swim. Sudaki, excellent. You brought your crew member all the way from harmless to deadly. That is fantastic work. And may I ask, I mean, how long has that taken you? I mean, what sort of, I suppose the easiest measure of it would be what sort of pay that crew has received, I suppose, because that would be a good measure of the amount of missions you've taken and things like that. Just as an interesting note for myself. I think, yeah, 7.5 million credits currently my crew members receive. Takes a few hours, really. I mean, if you stick to, I suppose I was pottering around and I've got about 45% of the way from expert to master. Whatever. No point shooting at NPC power plant to pirate. They just repair. Oh, they repair it now. Yes, they do. Yeah, they reboot and repair to get away. I mean, the trick is to take out their you want the weapons like the missiles which disable their thrusters and things like that. But again, like you said, it's that balance, trying to get it so it's an interesting experience without giving too much advantage to players that would be otherwise abusing it for player killing. Oh, is it Gosu is based on damage done, is it? I mean, that's probably why it's been slower for me, as I've just been in the keel back, like I said, just pottering away, ticking away with the possibilities. I'm quite happy with that. Come on, glide. DJ. That's just evil. I wouldn't partake in that exploitation of the game. Now. Do the NPCs keep respawning at a convoy beacon though? I think they do, don't they? Garzini, no, I don't believe there is. I think the total time played is just a server-side statistic, which is it's not going to be that granular. Sorry, I don't think that's a possibility. Go to a low-res site and kill the NPC to a high-res. Ah, right, so you're not talking about mode switching to get the NPCs to constantly lie. Yeah, I mean, that's fine, then that's not exploiting, that's just being an asshole. But it's a PvP, so it's fine, if you murder all the infected, you're trying to contain the outbreak. Exactly. You can justify your NPC kills all you want. I'm still telling Mom. I'm going to tell her. Cannon changes. Oh, excellent. Yes, cannon's getting a little bit. I mean, all of the weapon clips, I think, are getting an increase. That was something that Prime's put into the thread there, which is nice to see. Definitely with the cannons, because I always felt like I would use them more if they had more ammunition. Turn my lights on so I don't smack it to the surface. I don't think this patch notes is that. Sadly, I do not have the link. Let me try and find it. See if I can find it. I'm going to slam into the surface of this planet now, aren't I? I don't have the link available to it. There is a link on the forum, which is something which is an official thread started. Some of them were by Prime. If you need to search on the forum, it's us. Mark Allen, by the way. Sorry, Prime, calling you out there. I think one of the other threads, I think, is done by Sandro. But yeah, if you search on the forums, there's a couple of active threads at the moment talking about some of the changes which are coming in 2.2. There we go, Prime. Legend, thank you. I was completely not prepared for that tonight. I couldn't find it. It's because there's no newsletter. I was right up into the last minute searching for the newsletter, and then I was notified that, yeah, there is no newsletter this week. So, damn it. Zom, with respect to the PvP, for the sake of PvP, FDED shouldn't really focus so narrowly on balancing the straight-up fights too much. What they need is more context for PvP to take place, e.g. a team of players with a group team mission. Yeah, that would be good. Team missions, SRVs on ground to take out the player base, while armored type 9s deliver troops and things like that, for and other ones assist in wins for air cover. Yeah, I mean, some of that is possible now, but it's not kind of actively encouraged. If you want to do it, you have to kind of just arrange it and do it as a player group, but there's no kind of group rewards or like group missions and that kind of stuff, really. It would be nice to do that, but again, that comes back to the having a better carrot so that you don't need to use the stick, I think, because people are more interested in going after the juicier carrot. More ammo coming, yeah, absolutely, more ammo, bigger clips, damage tweaks on all of the things, so it's nice to see that there's going to be a big balance pass coming up. There it is. Oh, I love the light from your ships highlighting the ground as you go out. Right, 2 kilometers. Can I get 2 kilometers and get these things dead in 2 minutes' time? I doubt it, but we are going to get this done before I finish up the stream tonight. Damn it, one way or another. DJ, right now you think of Elite Dangerous like a huge beta. It's still in development, so things are taking. Absolutely, it's one of my favourite terms, and I will make Fiery Toad laugh by saying it. But placeholder, everything which doesn't work the way you want it to, placeholder. it's all very much in flux, and I think that was something that David always said, that the game would be, a permanent beta, effectively constantly tweaking and changing, and it's always going to be that way, because as new systems and mechanics are brought online, it can't stay stagnant. It has to change. As soon as we can get out and walk around, it's going to massively change the mechanics of combat. You're going to want, as has been mentioned several times, reducing the DPS so that combat lasts longer. If you can go first person inside your ship, you really need ship-to-ship battles and interactions to take a lot longer, so that there's more interesting, involving things you can do inside a ship whilst a combat is occurring. If that can work at all, because obviously if a ship is manoeuvring around at high velocity and accelerating at ridiculous rates, you might not be able to walk around inside the ship, because you just end up as pink mush rolling around inside the halls. Come on. Oh, yes, in the nick of time, just before 10 o'clock Yes! Yes! Mission completed! And smash into a rock. There we go. So I will clean that up. I will get on the case of sorting that out. But yes, thank you very much for everyone who tuned in tonight. It was lovely to have a chat about it. There's very, very contentious topics. Yes, I know there's some things going on there. But yeah, there's... I never see it as a bad thing to discuss these things. You know, it's always nice and interesting to kind of toss around the ideas and kind of discuss how these things could be balanced. And I know that Frontier, I'm well aware of all of the different conversations. They have a load of things internally, like Prime said several times, that, you know, they want to do and they can do. So these things are coming. I don't think there's any need to worry about it. In the meantime, I think, you know, we very much have the mechanics to protect ourselves from these various situations, like, you know, going into private groups and things like that. So not a big issue, I don't think. But yes, always fun to chat to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you again same time next week. So until then, Commanders, see you in the void.